Hi, I'm Julie Shroka, and the reason I'm running is because I retired after 30 years of service from the College of Lake County last year. And I was away for a while, and then I realized that CLC is tattooed on my heart, and I love the college. I love helping students. I want to continue helping students. When I was here, my first 13 years, I was a student recruiter. I had an opportunity to visit all the high schools throughout the county. I helped students enroll, I helped them advise. I heard their struggles, I heard their challenges. And then I had an opportunity to work in the foundation and raise funds for scholarships. After hearing all their struggles, I thought this is a good opportunity where I can continue to help students by raising funds. And I did that. With the help of great staff in the foundation, I raised over $2 million for student scholarships because I knew how challenging it was for the students to have the money to go to school. And I wanted to give back. For the students out there, if you're out there, best job that you can have is when you can go to work and impact students and be a positive influence in your community. And I encourage all of you to do that. Thank you. My number one concern in the state of Illinois. For operational funds, we get $8 million a year, the college does. And we have only gotten, in the past 2 years, out of $16 million, $5.6 million. That is a huge hit for the college. We really need to be an advocate, need to go down to Springfield, need to talk to all our representatives about that. I don't think raising property taxes and definitely not student tuition. So what happens? There's only so much revenue streams that we can go to. I think that we have to look at other revenue streams to bring into the college. We're doing all these buildings on the Lakeshore campus, which is great for our students in the northeast part of the county. We need to use maybe those buildings for some naming rights, look at our policies there, get some corporations to give us naming rights of buildings. They can have their name on there in perpetuity, and we can maybe raise funds that way. We can raise funds through private resources. I know the college right now already has a program with Granger where they have a warehouse distribution program where they're going to help with the curriculum and they're going to give the college money to have this program. These are the type of partnerships that we can do. There's corporations in the South Lake part, Northeast part, for Grays Lake. We go to these corporations, we talk to them, we ask them to be partners with us in these programs. They need trained workers. We need to give our students jobs. It seems to me that there can be a lot more effort in that area where we can go to these businesses, talk to them, saying, what kind of jobs are there? What programs can we put together so our students can get jobs once they graduate? And can you help us with the funding in these programs? I think more funding is going to be important to all our campuses. And we need those resources so we can continue to support the services and education of students in all our campuses. Example of that is the dental hygiene program. When the college was going to have it here at the Grays Lake campus, and then there was discussion, and then they brought it to the Lakeshore campus. And it was an excellent decision because residents in that community needed those services, and the students could go to the dental hygiene school and get a degree and get a good job. And those are the type of education programs that we have to attach to the different campuses and see where the need is. Carlos, I think to answer your question, I guess I would get out and about and I talk to students. I find out how are they feeling, are they feeling like it's a welcoming environment? Is there something the college can do? I think from my perspective, the college is doing an excellent job reaching out to all segments of the community and our populations. And the economic and demographic changes are dramatically increasing the needs for adult education, literacy, and English as a second language program. We had 1,800 students enrolled in adult education in fall 2016. And it's very difficult for these students to obtain the literary skills that they need to obtain good jobs and to function well in society. And the program, adult education, is funded by the feds and the state. And as we've all pointed out, the state is broke and they're not giving us the finances needed for these very important programs. So what does the college do? The college is reaching into their own funds, their own reserve funds to pay for this program. So I think to the college, supporting these students in these programs is extremely important. I also think that I agree President Weber, along with other community college presidents, signed a statement in support of DACA. And undocumented students are 40% of our adult basic education students, 3% of our credit hour students, and those students need to have supported. And I agree that we should be in support of the deferred action for childhood arrivals. And I think that the college should continue with all their programs that they have to assist all the different diversity. For example, the MetaVision program. It's a national organization. Are you part of that program? No? Okay. It's a national organization created by the Student African American Brotherhood. It's providing support and guidance to increase male academic success on campus. There are programs like that that are so important that support our diverse populations. I think that Student Activities is doing an excellent job. There's several clubs and organizations supporting. The Latino Alliance is supporting, Sister to Sister, Pride Alliance, International Club, and CLC has been named by GI Jobs magazine as a military-friendly school, another population that we have to look at and serve. So I think as a trustee of the college, I would support all efforts in serving the diverse populations. I would communicate with students, and I would make sure that they're feeling supported by the college, and if not, I would bring to the Board of Trustees programs that they would give me. Thank you. Very much agree with Michelle on that answer. There has to be some more joint marketing, and students need to be more aware of how the credits they're getting at the College of Lake County can transfer into a university center program. And there has to be marketing materials out there to show this. The University Center is an incredible resource for the college and for our place-bound students here in Lake County. And it just needs to be more known out there that of all the programs that are available to our students. I think that there has to be also, as Catherine said, more work down in Springfield to bring funding not only to the College of Lake County, but to the University Center, because we are partners, and it's just good, sense to try to have both institutions accessible to all residents in Lake County. When I was director of alumni relations and special events, one of the things I did to try to get the alumni some advantages is the Alumni Association passed a scholarship whereby if you are transferring from the College of Lake County to the University Center, the Alumni Association will give you a $1,000 scholarship. This was one of the ways that we wanted to make sure that our alumni were aware of the University Center and the programs there, and that there was a scholarship for our alumni to go directly from CLC to the University Center. Thank you. My last 30 years here has been totally immersed in the college, and it's a little hard to separate, personal from professional, because when I was here, I gave my all to this institution and to serve the students here. I was a specialist staff representative for 13 years, and in that capacity, we planned the very first student orientation session together, and that was interesting. I created a high school counselor day. I created days where I go to each and every high school I represented and talk to all the counselors as a special staff member. I was administrator for 17 years as director of alumni relations and special events. I led the Alumni Association Board during those years into raising funds for alumni relative scholarship and for the University Center scholarship. I personally have given over $15,000 to student scholarships because I feel so strongly about students and giving them an opportunity to have an education here. I've been a student here. I've taken several classes as a student here. I'm a volunteer here. I'm an advocate. So everything that I have done for the past 30 years has been to help this college grow and to help students get an education. Thank you. Well, obviously state finances, and I've already talked about partnerships with companies and endowed faculty positions, private fundraising, and naming. Matthew, sorry you don't like naming, but we do have the James Lumber Center, which is named, and I just think that some of the other large buildings, the science buildings and the Lakeshore campus buildings like those, you get a company name on it, it could give us some, extra money that I think could go far to help students. Challenges right now is that students coming in from the high schools that aren't prepared for college work end up in basic English and basic math. It's double hit against them, and it takes them a long time to get the math and the English that they need in order to continue on to get a good education. And I know right now Dr. Weber's working with many high school principals looking at that problem so there can be some communication with the high schools of this is what the students need to be prepared. They need to have this English level and this mathematic level to come in and be ready and be successful in the community college. Otherwise, they just get, they keep on taking their basics and many of them don't continue on, and we don't want to see that happen. So that's a challenge. Another challenge is the soaring cost of textbooks. I saw students as a recruiter and as an administrator struggling to get their tuition paid so they wouldn't get dropped from their classes. And so classes would start and then they wouldn't have money to buy their textbooks. Textbooks are ridiculously priced. So administration and faculty, they have to come together and talk about this problem for students. There's open educational resources, and I know Martha Lowley in psychology, she was doing her classes this past semester trying to use just open educational resources so the students would have free resources rather than having to buy a textbook. And then they did a little study and they found out that using this open educational resources, the students were just as effective as having textbooks. So why can't we look more into that? Or there's all sorts of tools out there right now and apps that students can use to find where there are cheaper textbooks. So I think that that's a challenge for our students, and I think it's a challenge that we can successfully conquer. There just has to be a conversation about that. I think also, and Michelle hit a little bit upon it, about colleges tightening their belts. And I think as positions leave the college, they're not being filled, and I understand why, because the budget of the college, over, I think, 75–80% is its employees' salaries and benefits. So that is where the majority of the college's budget goes. So as the state is not giving us their $8 million constitutional obligation of funding, the college is funding programs from their own reserve funds, and that's not going to last forever. So you have to tighten the belts. My concern with tightening the belt is when full-time faculty positions leave and they're not filling those positions and filling them instead with adjunct faculty, because I think that full-time faculty here on campus are here to teach students and are here to meet with students, and I think that the quality of education goes down if the ratio of full-time versus adjunct faculty is going to continue to increase. I think that's a challenge, and that has to be looked at. Another challenge that I see going on is the website. Now, all you little millennials out there, you get on the computer, boom, 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 boom. I'm enrolled in my classes. But I can't tell you how many times I have had residents come up to me and say, they're financial advisors, they have doctorates, they have masters, and they're coming to me and go, I can't figure out how I can enroll in classes and enroll and get my application in and enroll in classes. Now, you get money from the state if the more enrollment. So let's increase enrollment. And a simple way to do that is to make the online enrollment process easier for people to do. Now, I was here when they were doing the whole new branding and doing the online community. Believe me, it is so much improved right now than it used to be, but a lot has to be done to get the online process more user-friendly for our residents so they can enroll in classes. So those are my concerns, and if I was elected, I would make sure that these problems are solved. Thank you. I think that when it comes to diversity, again, I think the college is doing a really good job trying to offer opportunities to all populations of our community. I think that we also have to look at the information that the Board of Trustees get. They're large packets, and we have to be very informed of all information that's coming to the board members. And what is the graduation rates? What are the GPAs of all the populations? Are they getting the support they needed? Are they getting the financial support they need? I think we have to look at the MAP grants. Many of our students of colors get those grants, and right now there's not a lot of MAP grants available, and we need to start looking at finances, education. We need to start looking at those types of problems that are going to prevent the diverse communities from getting the best education that they can get. I think that that we need to use the data warehouse that's in our institutional research and look at that data, as James said, and see where the populations are falling behind. What can we do to support those populations? Is it financial? Is it programs? Is it education? But as a trustee, we need to look at all the information very carefully and see and make sure that all populations are getting degrees, are getting their goals, and doing the best that they can in the College of Lake County. again, my love for this institution and my passion for students is the reason I'm running. Been a student, special staff member, administrator, ex officio foundation board member, volunteer, and advocate for CLC. I think these experiences, and including my fundraising experience and the vast amount of knowledge that I have accrued, uniquely prepares me for the role of trustee. And if elected as CLC trustee, I will lead with integrity. I will be an independent voice, and I understand sometimes you need courage to do that, but I will do that. And my decisions invariably will always come back to one question. How does this decision affect students? And that one question will be the question that I will ask on every issue that comes in front of me as a trustee. Thank you.